Oh, whoops. There we go. Hello. Welcome to season 4, episode 10 of Uncanny Oddities. Tonight, we're going to be talking about quantum immortality and do we ever truly experience death? So, this one is going to be a short one because it's, just me introducing you to a concept tonight. And I'm going to briefly discuss it and pose a couple of philosophical questions to anyone who may be listening in and give some people to think about after the fact. So, essentially, quantum immortality is the idea or concept that when we get to a point where we would typically experience death, as we call it, the end of our life, we don't actually experience that death. The body does die, decay, whatever, but we, as the conscious entity within the vessel, which is the body, we as the consciousness never truly experience death because at the moment of death, the consciousness unknowingly, not even knowingly, but unknowingly transfers to a new body within a new universe within the multiverse. Now, just briefly for anyone who's unaware, the multiverse is exactly what it sounds like: multiple universes. It is the concept that there are an infinite number of universes out there. And it goes a little deeper than that, but we're not here to discuss the multiverse necessarily. So in quantum immortality, when you jump into this next universe per se, or this next life, however you want to think about it or word it, when you jump into this new life, it actually turns out that you retain all your previous memories up to the point of death. For example, if you died choking on a chicken bone while eating, a chicken or something, you died choking on a chicken bone, the moment that you die choking on that chicken bone, you don't actually experience the death. You jump to a new reality where you are able to clear the bone from your airway and you're able to survive. However, that happens. And that is the idea of quantum immortality, essentially saying that at the moment of death, you get a new life essentially, which actually makes me think of Kingdom Hearts in a strange way because the worlds they get eaten up, but when the worlds get eaten up, some people are able to survive and they get to go to Traverse Town or other scattered planets out there. It's complicated. But anyways, the reason it reminds me of that is because when you die, you get transported into this new reality, and that's kind of what happens in Kingdom Hearts. Their worlds get eaten by the shadows, and some of the survivors are able to go to other planets, and it's like a continuation. They don't necessarily get to continue living on their place, but they don't get to continue living in their own world, but they get to continue living by traveling to another world. So it's kind of similar to that, like the multiverse. So another thing that the idea or theory of quantum immortality reminds me of is the idea of just like, continuing your life perpetually and indefinitely. Like the Loki, if you watched Disney, the Loki series on Disney, he got to travel through the multiverse. But another important aspect of quantum immortality is the Mandela effect. Quantum immortality could theoretically describe the Mandela effect and why that happens. Because if you were, transported into a new reality, in a different universe, there are many small, minute details that would be slightly different. So, for example, rather than Jim Carrey played a character named Fire Marshal Bill. Rather than playing the character Fire Marshal Bill on the skit show In Living Color, maybe in another reality or another universe, he played the character of Fire Marshal Bill, and everything was identical. It was the exact same sketches, the exact same actor, and everything, but it was on Mad TV instead of In Living Color. Like little things like that. And the only people that would know about these little things are the people who are from the other alternative realities. However, to be clear, in order for something to officially be considered a Mandela effect, by definition, it has to affect a large portion of society, not just a small demographic. Yeah, unfortunately, because I know many people that have their own little personal Mandela effects, but they are not, wide on a wide scale or a large scale. So they are not technically Mandela effects, unfortunately. But if there was the idea of quantum immortality, that could describe Mandela effects and why different people have different memories and feel so confident within their memories. Because maybe for them, they came from another world where they did have that. Maybe you take a step out into traffic and you almost get hit by a car, and then you're able to avoid the car at the last second. Or were you? Maybe you didn't avoid that car at the last second. Maybe you got hit by the car, and at the moment of impact, your consciousness immediately, instantaneously traveled to another universe where you were able to avoid the car. And if you were able to avoid the car, you get to go on living, and you have no memory of being hit by the car because your consciousness was able to travel so instantaneously that you didn't even get to experience the death of getting hit by that car. So that would actually be a great example of superpositioning because you can travel instantaneously faster than the speed of light, and you can be in two positions at once. So basically, the idea of quantum immortality can essentially be boiled down to superpositioning of the soul or the consciousness across the entire multiverse. And when one little light blips out, you just simply awaken into the next light in your next life across the multiverse. So, what I pose everyone think about tonight, or whenever you happen to see this video, is in the idea of quantum immortality. Do you think you would enjoy quantum immortality? Jumping from universe to universe and never truly experiencing death. It might be an adventure. Or would you rather have some sort of afterlife? And if you would like to have an afterlife, what sort of afterlife would you like to have? Would you like to have an afterlife that is already known, like, heaven and hell, nirvana, paradise, Valhalla, like the Vikings do, that's just like an endless battle? You know? What kind of paradise would you like to have? And that's what I want you to think about tonight is if you would prefer to have quantum immortality or an afterlife. And if you would like to have the afterlife, what kind of afterlife would be really cool for you? You can even make up your own afterlife. So let us know in the comments whatever you decide to do or whatever you think about the concept of quantum immortality. And as I said, this is a short one tonight. So I just wanted to, basically bring the concept out to you, describe it a little bit, and pose a few questions for everyone to think about. So thank you for coming to hang out, and I hope to see you next time. And as always, do your own research. And what was that other thing? Oh, yeah. Stay uncanny, people. Thank you. And we will see you next time.